Every accusation Donald Trump throws out is really a confession about himself, and nothing proves that more than his endless lies about elections. The fraud, the cheating, the attempt to twist the system. It's not just about the midterms, he's already scheming for 2028 too. And if you think he doesn't dream of a third term, you're not paying attention. But that plan just hit a wall. And surprisingly, the man who once helped Trump the most, Elon Musk, just dropped a bombshell that has Trump rattled. We'll break it all down. Before we dive in, make sure to hit like and subscribe. It really helps us keep bringing you this coverage. Now, let's start with the person standing up to Trump even harder than Elon right now, Gavin Newsom, who just made the stakes for 2026 and 2028 crystal clear.
Well, I think it's pretty sick and pathetic. And it just said everything you need to know, the setting that we're under. That they chose the time, manner, and place to send their district director outside right when we're about to have this press conference. Said everything you know about Donald Trump's America. And that was top down. You know that for a fact. They'll deny it, I'm sure. Maybe they won't deny it. Said everything you know about the authoritarian tendencies of the President of the United States. I said in a moment ago, wake up, America. Wake up. You will not have a country if he rigs this election. You will have a president who will be running for a third term. Mark my word. I wasn't exaggerating when I said that I received in the mail a Trump 2028 hat from one of his biggest supporters. These guys are not screwing around. The rules do not apply to him. The most corrupt president in history. He doesn't believe in free enterprise, crony capitalism. He is wrecking this country, wrecking the economy. He's a lawless president. Wake up, America. Wake up to what's going on.
He's obviously got a complicated relationship right now with the Trump White House, though. My argument to Elon is, like, you're not going to be on the left, right? Even if you wanted to be, and he doesn't, they're not going to have you back. That ship has sailed. And so I really think it's a mistake for him to try to break from the president. So my hope is that by the time of the midterms, he's kind of come back in the fold. But yeah, I don't know that he would take my call right now about anything.
Really?
I'm sure he would. I kid. I'm sure he would take my call.
Now is Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna of California. He's a member of the House Oversight Committee and the House Armed Services Committee. Congressman, thank you very much for joining us tonight. This sounds like a breakthrough for your committee today, not only taking testimony from former Attorney General William Barr, but now a promise from the Justice Department for a delayed compliance with your subpoena beginning Friday of the Epstein files.
Lawrence, it is a breakthrough. Here is the central fact. We now know there are a lot of documents. You have a Republican chair, Comer, saying there are a lot of documents. There is no excuse now for those documents not to be released to the committee and to the American public. Now, the Justice Department is slow walking this. They are now promising to get some documents, and they are not the most critical documents. And so what we need to do when we get back to session is to have Thomas Massie and my bill pass the House of Representatives and force the full release. And if Chairman Comer wants all the files released, he should be signing that discharge petition. We're going to have all 212 Democrats sign it, and we'll see which Republicans actually are going to back up with action their request for the full demand of the release of the documents.
Will there ever be a way of knowing, even if your bill passes, that this Justice Department, the Trump Justice Department, has actually handed over the entirety of the Epstein files?
Not with certainty, though. There are enough people in the Justice Department who have probably handled these files and people who are career prosecutors that it will be a risk for false or incomplete disclosures. There is always the possibility of a whistleblower, of a career prosecutor coming in saying this was not a full disclosure. They're not releasing things that we have seen. And so the one good news here is that it's not just political appointees like Pam Bondi who have seen this. There are a lot of career prosecutors who have seen this, and that gives us some ability to have a check for full transparency.
On Friday, when you get your first look at the Epstein files, what will you be looking for?
I'll be looking for whether this is actually a good faith effort at release. Are they just releasing things that are already public? You remember Pam Bondi, when she first released the Epstein documents, basically released things that already were in the public domain, and that actually increased the anger? Or are they releasing things that we have not seen? And are they releasing things that the victims want? One other thing that we have talked about, and it actually was facilitated, Lawrence, by your reporting and your show, is on September 3rd, we are for the first time having Bradley Edwards and over a dozen victims of the Epstein saga and abuse come to the Capitol and tell their stories and to center the victims. And that is something that we really need to do.
Yeah, Bradley Edwards is the attorney for those victims and many others who appeared on this program. And as you go forward, Congressman, when you're looking at redactions in the Epstein files, as there surely will be, which redactions would be acceptable to you? What category of redaction, and what kind of redactions would not be acceptable to you?
Certainly any redaction that is protecting the victim's identity or protecting the victim's privacy would be appropriate. Now, ordinarily, they should be contacting the victim's lawyers to work on this and to see what appropriate redactions are. Bradley Edwards has not been contacted. The victims have been sidelined through this process for years. But anything that was protecting their identity, their privacy is appropriate. Where I would have concerns is if there are redactions, particularly on financial transactions, if there are redactions on the interviews of famous individuals who may have been involved in these parties and may have been involved in some of the abuse. And so we have to look at who they're trying to protect with the redactions.
Right now, more than ever, the focus is to stay on the Epstein files. That doesn't mean we can't cover Texas or the power grabs in D.C., but Epstein has to remain front and center. Congress is coming back into session, and this time they can't just dodge the issue like before. We need to ramp up the pressure, keep the conversation alive, and not let them shift the agenda. Leaders like Robert Garcia, Ro Khanna, and Jasmine Crockett are already pushing this, and we're committed to doing the same here. If you want to support that mission, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It makes a big difference.